Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. And before I even get started, I will tell you, yes, you're right. I'm not where I usually am. So if you were thinking that to yourself, you can pat yourself on the back because you're absolutely correct. I'm not where I usually film. I am home with my family this week, and we took the opportunity to take a day trip to our family cabin. And you might be thinking, Rachel, why would you do that? Well, I don't know if you would be thinking that, but if you are, I'll tell you. The reason we did that is because it's a perfect opportunity to take some photos of the cabin yarn. So if you are new around here, you may not be aware of the cabin collection that is right on our doorstep. Basically, it is only a few weeks away. I'm collaborating with Kat and Penny Strickland of Cesium Yarn. They hand dye their yarn in Roanoke, Virginia, and we have partnered to bring my family cabin to life through yarn. So this is a very special opportunity for me. I'm so excited about this collaboration. It's not something I ever thought would happen, but it's happening, and I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to share it with all of you as well. So anyway, all that to say, the reason I'm in a new location is, first of all, because I am in Oregon, not Louisiana, and secondly, because I'm at my family cabin. So I have spent the last several hours flitting back and forth from room to room of this cabin to take pictures and videos and all kinds of footage of the cabin collection skeins with their namesakes or their sources of inspiration. And it's been an absolutely incredible experience. My parents are with me here. They've been so patient with me as I've been walking around, taking all sorts of shots and, bending over and contorting my body just to get the right shot. So I don't know if they laughed at me at all or watched me at all, but they've just been hanging out while I go from room to room and get all of these shots. Now, I have to tell you, I'm absolutely blown away by the talent of Kat and Penny of Cesium Yarn. Penny, I think, does a lot of the admin stuff with their business, and Kat is the artist behind these beautiful skeins that I'm about to show you. But there's a few things I want to go over before I show you the yarn. So I know YouTube and Instagram are two totally different platforms, but there is crossover. So a lot of you who follow me here on YouTube also follow me on Instagram, but I know some of you are more YouTube people and Instagram isn't really your thing. That's totally fine. But for those of you who are not on Instagram and watching this video, you kind of have a sneak peek because I'm going to be showing you every single colorway from the cabin collection. There are 13 different colorways and they're a mix of tonals and variegateds. I have fallen in love with all of them, but over the course of the next week and a half, Kat, Penny, and I are doing color reveals day by day on our Instagram feeds. So if you're only watching on Instagram, you have to wait and only get a little bit at a time of what these colorways are. But if you're here watching this video, you get to see all of them right here, right now. So lucky you, lucky me, lucky us. This is gonna be really fun. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. I have a whole stack of skeins next to me. You can't see them, they're out of frame, but they are absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just gonna show you what I wanna show you. I know the first one, so I'll show you that one first. Here it is. This is Craft Nook, and this is inspired by a sheet of contact paper that rests on the bottom of our Craft Nook. And behind me, you can't see it, but you can see kind of where it is. This is a staircase behind me that goes up to what we call the stair loft. And underneath the stairs is a little cupboard, and there is not a young British boy who sleeps in there at night. Rather, that's where we keep our crayons and our toy tea set and coloring books. So as a kid, the Craft Nook, and it's called all sorts of different things by different people. I think Craft Nook is not really the correct name for it, but it's how I think of it in my head. So this colorway is called Craft Nook. But anyway, the contact paper on the bottom of the craft Nook is this really cute yellow, orange, green color scheme of these really cute flowers. I asked my grandma the story behind the contact paper. Initially, I thought it was wallpaper because apparently I don't know anything, but it's contact paper. My grandmother doesn't remember the story. She just told me, oh, I probably just decided it needed it one day and did it. So that's the story there. But it's so cute. It's so homey. It's been there as long as I can remember, maybe before I was even born. But it's just a very homey, I think, I don't know, sweet touch to that little cupboard under the stairs where we keep our craft supplies. And that was, I don't know, a really precious area for me when I would be here as a kid on our trips to the cabin. I would always color. I would stand in front of the fireplace, which I'm looking at right now. You can't see, it's behind where the camera is. I'll show you later. Don't worry. But I would take the pictures I would color and I would stand in front of the fireplace and show them off to my family. And I thought I was just, I don't know, hot stuff with some real artistic talent drawing like stupid little birds or something. But anyway, this is based on the contact paper in the craft Nook. And I'm really, really happy with how this colorway turned out. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I imagine this to be knit up as a beautiful shawl, maybe even like a nice lightweight fingering top. I think it would just be absolutely gorgeous. So that is Craft Nook. That's our first variegated colorway of the cabin collection. Now I'll show you a tonal. So I'm going to go ahead and show you Fixtures. This is a beautiful, deep, it's not quite black, it's not quite brown, it's kind of in between. It's this dark brown. There are orange undertones, and this is inspired by the iron fixtures around the cabin. There are original door latches, which I'll show you a clip of, that open up most of the bedroom doors. In fact, I think all of the bedroom doors, the closets, and the bathroom doors. And as far as I know, they're original to when the cabin was built in 1941. And they're very special to me. Not only are the door latches special, but also if you look up at the top of each picture window is a large iron curtain rod. And there used to be curtains on them, but ever since I can remember, there haven't been. But they're still there. They're just like kind of these stalwart guardians of the cabin in my mind. And then lastly, there's also a flue on the chimney that I remember getting in trouble when I would try to pull as a child. So anyway, all of those iron fixtures have come together to inspire this really rich, deep tonal. This would be a great neutral for color work. You could use it by itself for a really comfy, cozy sweater or hat. I think I'll probably make DJ a hat of this, and that will work with his wardrobe. He likes darker colors. Whenever I ask him what color he wants me to knit him up, he says blacks or blues or browns. So that is Fixtures. All right, since we did a variegated first with Craft Nook and then a tonal with Fixtures, let's go back to variegated and I will show you cabin walls. So this is cabin walls, which you can see behind me. This cabin is lined with knotty pine. And of course, a cabin collection without cabin walls would just frankly be incomplete. So I'm so glad that this is part of the cabin collection. I'm so impressed. And I was telling my mom that I loved this colorway from the moment I first saw it, when we opened up the package of yarn that arrived at their house yesterday. But seeing it here in the cabin and seeing it next to the actual cabin walls, I love it just more and more. I think that it is so warm and rich. There are these beautiful honey tones with these deeper brown sections, and we have a warmer brown. So there's just lots of layers to this colorway. And I think that you could use it in a lot of different ways. So that is Cabin Walls, an absolutely beautiful colorway. Just looking at this skein, I feel like I'll be instantly transported back to the cabin. I mean, obviously I'm here right now, so I don't need to be transported back because I'm here. But when I'm gone, this will be all the more meaningful. All right, so we have Craft Nook, Fixtures, Cabin Walls. Let's go next to another tonal, and we will move to Couches. Comfy Cozy Couches is the colorway name. This is, can you guess? Based on the couches. So the story behind these couches, they're not original to the cabin. I mean, if you look at them, you can probably guess they're not from 1941, but they're brand new. And by brand new, I mean 15 or more years old. But in my mind, they're brand new because I don't remember them when I was a little girl. I remember the original couches in the cabin. But when we got these, they were so fancy. They still are so comfy cozy. But in my mind, they're not original. So that must mean they're brand new. But when I look at like an aerial shot from the stair loft above me, these two red couches, the one behind me and another one out of frame, really just bring the whole cabin together. It's so warm in here. It's so comfy cozy. The atmosphere is so homey, and it's perfect. And the couches are part of that. So we knew we needed a red. And I have to say, we are so impressed. By we, I'm not like saying the royal we. I'm talking about me and my mom specifically. We are so impressed at how well Kat matched the color of the couches. This dusty red that's like at the same time hazy but soft. It's so perfect. It's a perfect match. Like, look, you can't even see where the skein went. Only because of that label can you see. Okay, I'm just kidding, but you can see the skein. But it's an incredible, incredible match. So I'm really excited about this. This would be great on its own, great in color work. I could see this being striped with fixtures. It actually goes well with all of these that I've shown so far. Yeah, so if you're looking for a nice dusty red, Comfy Cozy Couches, just maybe the colorway for you. Let's go on. We just did a tonal, so let's go to variegated. And I will show you now marbles. So this is marbles. And this is exactly what I envisioned when I showed Kat the inspiration photo, which was just a pile of marbles, if you can believe it. So marbles is basically representative of the marbles that are at the cabin in the game cabinet behind me. We would use marbles to play all sorts of games. I remember just looking at the marbles, like picking them up and looking at them through the light and being like so mesmerized at how beautiful the marbles were and how did they get those swirls of color in a clear marble. It totally blew my mind. So marbles, the yarn, just like marbles, the glass toy, is absolutely mesmerizing. There is this creamy white base with speckles of all different colors. And if I move the label, you can even see more of the speckles and more of like those flashes of color. There's one specific speckle. I'll see if I can find it. Here it is. This blue speckle right here. That's my favorite part of this entire skein. So I'm going to have to keep track of that one blue speckle when I wind this up. But that's my favorite part of the whole skein. I don't know. I just love it. I think it's so delicate and beautiful. And this is just the perfectly fun skein that I was hoping would come of that inspiration pick of marbles, and I'm so happy with it. So this is marbles. I think that this would be a really fun color work to put with fixtures or even with Comfy Cozy Couches. It's really versatile. It'll go with a lot of things because the speckles in here and the sections of color, you know, cover a lot of different color families. There's reds, there's greens, yellows, blues, and spots where they kind of layer on each other so it almost looks black. There's purples, there's, did I say reds? There's oranges. So really you could go in a lot of different directions with marbles. All right, next we have the game cabinet. So you'll notice that a lot of these colorways are basically just nouns. And I don't know, I think there's some beauty in that simplicity because this cabin is a no fuss cabin. The point of this cabin, at least in my mind, is respite, family time, slowing down, enjoying what you're doing, savoring things. So you don't need to make it complicated when you're at the cabin. So a lot of these colorways, they're just nouns. They're just what they are. And so this is the game cabinet, which is behind me. And I'll show you here. The game cabinet has a lot of things going on. There is a plant on top. There is a big globe of sea glass. We have books, there's clocks, there's coasters. Down in the cupboard portion of the game cabinet, there are, you guessed it, games. So there's a lot going on in the game cabinet and there's something for everybody. So I think that this skein really represents that well. If you look closely at the skein, I'll take the label off so you can see fully. There are reds, there are blues, there are greens, and they layer together to make a very beautiful, almost watercolor effect with all of these different colors working together to make something really beautiful. And I think that is probably the perfect representation of the game cabinet because there's something for everyone. You could read a book, you could grab Monopoly, you could get a toy. There's a lot going on. So the game cabinet is that next variegated in the lineup. All right. Okay, the next colorway I want to show you is called Creator of Beauty. And before I even give you a glimpse of it, I'm going to tell you something that someone told me on Instagram. So a few days ago, I posted a picture of the cabin with a question box on my stories, and I asked if anyone had any guesses for colorways. And someone entered an answer in the question box and basically said, if there is not a purple, I don't know what I'll do, or I'll be devastated. And don't you remember, I'm a purple girl. I love purple. I'm having a purple moment. So of course there is going to be a purple. And if you've been following me for a while, you might have an idea of what one purple option could have been for me when picking cabin colorways. Well, I'll show you that one in a minute, so that's a spoiler. It's here, but there's another purple, and that is Creator of Beauty. This is named for my grandmother, and the reason it's called Creator of Beauty is because this is something that my mom says in reference to my grandma quite often. She says, do you know what I love about your grandma? She is a creator of beauty. And my mom is exactly correct. And what my mom means by that when she calls my grandmother a creator of beauty is anywhere my grandma goes, she will find a way to make it even more beautiful. And usually that manifests in grabbing pieces of the natural world around her, making an arrangement or a bouquet, and putting that in the rooms of the place she is in at that time, whether it's her house, whether it's the cabin, whether it's a hotel, doesn't matter. Grandma is a creator of beauty. And that manifested in our last trip to the cabin. I was lucky enough to come here last month, actually, with my family. We had a wonderful stay here. And what was waiting for us when we got here was a bouquet of the most beautiful purple flowers on the dining table. And these were flowers that my grandmother grew from her garden, took care of until they matured and were ready to be cut. And then she took them to the cabin and they were waiting here for us and they were just beautiful. So my grandmother is a creator of beauty, and you know, the beauty she creates is not always purple like this skein, but those flowers were, and this yarn is inspired by not only those flowers but the spirit that the spirit behind bringing those flowers to the table for us to enjoy. So all that to say, this colorway, Creator of Beauty, is a beautiful soft lilac purple. There are pink undertones. There are creamier sections. It's just the most beautiful, light, lilac-y, lavendery color. And I think that this is going to make some beautiful projects, and I really can't wait to see it knit up. So please, if you get Cabin Yarn when it launches on September 1st, I want to know what you got. I want to know what you're planning to make. Because I look at these skeins and I imagine what they could become, but I'm only one person and my imagination is only so big. So I know that you are going to have things that I would never even think of that you're looking forward to make with these skeins. So please don't keep it to yourself. Show me what you plan to make so I can cheer you on and I can live through your making journey with you. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and move to Penny Pinecones. So this is Penny Pinecones. It's a beautiful brown. There are honey undertones. It goes really, really nicely with cabin walls, actually. But Penny Pinecone is so named after the pine cones that litter the cabin property. So this cabin rests under a canopy of shore pine and spruce trees. And they're beautiful. I absolutely love them. They make for some really beautiful scenery, some fresh air. They're amazing. But one problem they have is they produce pine cones. And by problem, I mean, my grandma doesn't like them. I don't mind them. I probably would mind them if I realized how many there were and I had to deal with them all the time. So the reason we have a colorway named Penny Pinecones is because when I was little, my grandmother would give me a large paper grocery bag and she would say, for every pine cone you pick up, I will give you a penny. And you might think, okay, that's a great way to earn 50 cents. No, I earned $10. So Penny Pinecones, that is the greatest get-rich-quick scheme I've ever heard of. So had to have a pine cone colorway from the shore pine and spruce trees that plop their pine cones all over the yard. All right. Next, let's go to a green. So if you look around, you get like those warm, comfy, cozy vibes. And I'm going to show you a green that a lot of people guessed would be coming, and that is carpet. So again, we have a colorway. It's just named. It's just a simple noun. It is carpet because the cabin carpet is iconic, if you ask me. And every time we talk about the cabin carpet, I'm reminded by my mother that the carpet was put in the 80s. So it's been here a while, basically 40 years. That's kind of a gross sentence to say. Anyway, basically 40 years. I learned on this trip that this is commercial carpet, and that explains a lot because it's held up to a lot of wear and tear. A lot of sand, some embers from the fire escaping from the fireplace. But basically, it's my favorite carpet in the world. If you are familiar with the Portland airport, you might know all the drama about the Portland carpet or PDX carpet. They replaced it several years ago, and you could buy pieces of the original PDX carpet. They had like coaster size pieces. They had doormat size pieces you could, excuse me, you could purchase. I don't know if you could purchase like an area rug size or not or what, but basically, my sisters and I have said for many years that if this carpet is ever replaced, we need to do that like they did with the PDX carpet and make sure everybody gets a piece of this carpet, or everybody who wants it, because we love this carpet. Just looking at it brings a sense of comfort and a feeling of being at home, and all of the special memories of the cabin, all the comfy, cozy feelings. So this is carpet. And I will tell you this skein that I'm holding up right now is Cat and Penny's base merino sock. And guess what? It's 4-ply. It's my favorite base in the world, 4-ply, 463 yards per 100 grams, 75% merino, 25% nylon. So if you too are a person partial to 4-ply, then definitely keep your eye on Cesium Yarn. If not for the cabin collection, just moving forward in general, because they do carry this base. And if you are sad that some dyers have discontinued it, definitely keep Cat and Penny of Cesium Yarn in your mind and on your radar, because they carry it. So now, before I move on from the carpet colorway and show you the remaining colorways, there's still 4 colorways for me to show you. I want to show you all of the carpet I have. So Cat and Penny so very kindly let me pick my favorite colorway from the collection. And as impossible as it was to pick, I tried to be sensible and get one that I knew would go well with a pattern I've been wanting to make for ages. So I got a sweater quantity of carpet, and I have been swatching for the Lanark sweater. This is by Rebecca Clow of Creeby or Creabea. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but she is a brilliant knitwear designer out of Scotland. And the Lanark is a half fisherman's rib, 3/4 zip pullover, and it's just stunning. It was recently re-released with added video tutorials, so that sealed the deal for me, and I am making a Lanark in carpet. So the half fisherman's rib swatch for carpet looks so good. It's so squishy and dreamy, and it's just like so perfect for the comfy cozy vibes that, you know, go hand in hand with the cabin. So I'm so happy with that. Also, I have to tell you, Cat and Penny are some of the most thoughtful people I've ever encountered in my entire life, because really it wasn't planned this way that the cabin yarn would be sent to me in Oregon. This trip home to be with family was not really planned until it needed to be. So the cabin collection was originally going to be shipped to my home in Louisiana, but I said, I'll actually be in Oregon. Could you ship it to me there? And of course they were accommodating. And you know what Kat asked me? She said, do you have a Swift there? If not, we can cake some of your sweater quantity skeins and send that to you. And I would not even have thought of that. Luckily, it turns out my mom, who is becoming more and more interested in this knitting stuff, she learned in January and has just skyrocketed in her knitting skills since then. I'm absolutely incredibly amazed by the speed at which she is learning. But anyway, all that to say, my mom does have a Swift, but I hadn't connected those dots. So Cat and Penny sent me 2 already wound cakes. The other one is in the car, I think, because I'm also swatching for the Lanark in the round. So I made a flat swatch, and I'm currently working on my swatch in the round. But they sent it caked, 2 skeins caked, and Penny sewed these cute little sweater, cozy yarn holder inner things. So they would stay in cake form on their cross-country journey. Isn't that so nice and thoughtful? And look, it's basically like Craft Nook. Wow, perfect. So I just thought that was really thoughtful, and it just confirmed what I already knew, which is that Cat and Penny are some of the sweetest people, and I am so glad that they are the dyers I'm partnering to bring the cabin collection to life in yarn form. I don't think you can find a sweeter set of people. So thank you so much, Cat and Penny, for your kindness, your thoughtfulness, and your friendship. Okay, we can't be sappy all day, so let's keep going. I am going to keep riding that green train and show you the next green, which is Grandma's Pert. Now, here's a story about Grandma's Pert. Grandma always stocks the showers with Pert. And if you haven't heard of Pert, it is a 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner. And I'm not really a big conspiracy theory person, but I've never seen Pert sold in stores. I've never looked for Pert sold in stores, but I've also never seen it. And you'd think that you would, right? On a shelf. I've been in the shampoo aisle many times. I've never seen Pert. I've only ever seen Pert in the showers of the cabin. So I don't know if it even exists outside of the cabin. And if it does, I don't want you to tell me, because I would like to remain believing that it's just a magical piece of this very special place. But anyway, Grandma has bought Pert for the showers my entire life. That's basically been the only shampoo conditioner in the cabin showers. So I know, we all know, whenever we're going to the cabin, that's what we're going to be using, Grandma's Pert. Now, the bottles have changed. I can't tell you like the bottles on the shelves because I never seen them on the shelves, but the bottles in the showers have changed over the years. So this is not necessarily the colorway that would be a true likeness to the current Pert bottles, but this is a perfect match to the Pert bottles that I remember from childhood, so in the 90s. And basically, Grandma's Pert, the yarn, is this really beautiful sea glassy, sea foamy green, which is perfect for the beach. And if you think it's weird to have a skein of yarn named after a 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner, just tell yourself this is called sea glass. But this is Grandma's Pert. And look how good it looks with Creator of Beauty. So basically the two colorways that are inspired by my grandma are a match made in heaven. That wasn't even planned. How perfect is that? So that's Grandma's Pert. There are only 3 colorways left, 1 tonal and 2 variegateds. I am going to show you, I think, my all-time favorite one next. This is Fireplace, and it is named after, shockingly enough, the fireplace of the cabin. This is really the centerpiece of the cabin, and it ties everything together. It's the focal point, it's the gathering place, it's the, I don't know, origin of the comfy, cozy warmth from the hearth. The fireplace is just incredibly, incredibly special. It's original to the cabin, and it's just like a piece of history in my mind. So I'm looking at it right now as I'm talking to the camera, and there are beautiful grays and tans and dark reds from the bricks, and they all come together to make this beautiful, strong, you know, I don't know, just symbol of family and safety and comfort. That's what the fireplace means to me. I would probably think that many members of my family would say the same thing, but they are the inspiration for this most beautiful colorway, also called the Fireplace. So if you look at this hank of yarn, you can see there are grays and tans and reds, and they're all working together to make this really beautiful, almost watercolory skein that just perfectly encapsulates the comfort I feel when I look at the actual fireplace. I'm feeling that when I look at this skein. So I think I'm definitely going to be getting a couple sweater quantities for myself when the cabin collection launches, and one of them is most certainly going to be in the fireplace. I think that this is just so beautiful. It's so, I don't know, it's like, it's so soft and inviting, but also, I don't know, just feels like safety and warmth. So anyway, I'm really happy with how the fireplace turned out. I think it is perfect, and I think that it would look wonderful held double, held single. There are so many different directions you could go with this really beautiful colorway. So I can't wait to see what people make with Fireplace. I absolutely love it. All right, so the last two colorways that I'm going to show you together. And I think that many of you can probably guess what they are because I haven't shown you these colorways yet. But if you have been following me on specifically Instagram for any amount of time, you will know that I love fuchsia flowers, specifically fuchsia flowers with purple underpants. And you might be thinking, Rachel, you are unhinged. Flowers do not wear underwear. Why are you saying fuchsia with purple underpants is special? Well, fuchsia with purple underpants is basically me just saying fuchsia with the inner petals that are purple. So there are lots of different fuchsia flowers out there in the world. Some of them have white underpants, some of them have pink underpants, some of them have magenta underpants. But the fuchsias with the purple underpants are the ones that are special to me. So you will not be shocked at all to see that I have in my hands the perfect pairing that is inspired by a fuchsia flower with purple underpants. So the story about my love for the fuchsia flower is because at the base of the cabin steps, there is a fuchsia bush. My grandmother tells me that my great-grandmother, her mother-in-law, planted that fuchsia bush and that it was there when my grandpa first took my grandma to the cabin. The fuchsia bush is older than my parents, certainly older than me. It's been here for many, many years, and it's so special to me. I would sit at the base of the fuchsia bush as a little girl and play with the flowers, and they're just so beautifully shaped that they look like little fairies in dresses or ballerinas. So I don't know. They're just very special to me. I love them. If I ever got a tattoo, it would be a fuchsia flower. Okay, anyway, that's too much information. But look at these. So we have this colorway. This is called Fuchsia Flower. This is after the magenta outer petals of fuchsia flowers. And then this, of course, is named after the purple underpants of the fuchsia flower, aka the purple inner petals. So together they just make this beautiful combination that reminds me of my most beloved fuchsia flower. So let me gather up all of the sets so you can see what they look like together. So all together there are 7 tonals, and then we have 6 variegateds. So that comes out to a collection with 13 individual colorways. There will be sock set pairings as well, so make sure you are following us on Instagram. I'm Rachel is Knitting and Cat and Penny are Cesium Yarn. But yeah, if you look at all this yarn plus the sweater quantity I have, it's just a beautiful bouquet of yarn to behold. So there you go. That is the cabin collection. And once again, it's difficult for me to communicate how grateful I am that this is happening, how excited I am that this is happening, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what you get. I can't wait to see what you make. I can't wait to share this with you and, I don't know, share this very special place that I love so much with all of you. So yeah, that's launching September 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope that you find something that you love from the cabin collection. If you have a favorite or a couple favorites that you love, let me know in the comments. I can't wait to see what colorways speak to you. But yeah, let me know. That's all I have. If you have any questions about the cabin collection, you can let me know in the comments, or you can message me or Cat and Penny on Instagram. And yeah, thanks so much for sticking around. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want to be notified of my next upload, hit that notification bell. And last but not least, you can head over to Instagram and follow me at Rachel is Knitting if you don't already. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you at the cabin on September 1st. Except don't actually come to the cabin. I don't think you know where it is, but When I say see you at the cabin, I mean see you at the collection pre-order launch. Okay. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.